All right. Good morning, everybody. Good morning, good morning, good morning. Class. There we have it. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Welcome. I am so happy to see you again this morning. We've got a busy schedule this morning, so we're going to hop right into what we're doing. For the opening, I'm going to ask Frank to come up and lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance. For those of you who are first-timers here with us, you know at the end of the pledge, we emphasize the last couple of words. So be ready for that. Frank?
Good morning, everybody. Please rise, put your hand over your heart. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Dankeschön.
Okay, before we get started, we got a couple of things we got to deal with from a housekeeping perspective. One of the things I want to do, we're kind of at a midpoint of our year. So I need some feedback from you guys in terms of how we're doing. You know, we had our big town hall in April where we said, here's some of the things you'd like to see. Here's some of the things you'd like to see us doing in the community. Since then, particularly last meeting, we just came off of our big Senate forum. I think that went well. But I need some feedback from you. Are we meeting your expectations, or are there things that you would like to see done more or differently? Any comments? Excellent. Then I'm going to take that as your approval of where we're going. So here's where I get to flip the script on you. Let's talk about what you're doing. Remember, we talked when we had the meeting in April. We said, one of the ways that we are going to impact this community, impact this next election cycle, is to start talking to the people that we know. You know, I'm not going to ask you to go try and convert a MAGA diehard. I'm not asking you to stand on the streets and yell at strangers. The best way that we're going to have impact is talking to the people around us, the people that live in our homes, the people that sing in the choir with us, the people that we golf with. So, since April, how many of you have actually started having those conversations with the people in your sphere of influence? Show of hands. That's a great thing. Would any of you like to share what your experience has been with that? Why don't you start here, sir? You don't get very good results when what? When we speak to other people. So what are the other people that you're talking to?
Well, we as Democrats, we're lacking in our approach. Instead of speaking up with our leaders, we don't hear enough from them
Okay.
what's going on at the moment.
Okay. All right, so he's getting pushback from the people he's talking to, and again, he's saying we don't have a democratic message that's carrying right now. Let me ask you, when you're speaking to the people, are you speaking in terms of trying to say, and this is why you need to vote for Democrats, or this is why you need to support Democrats? How are you doing that?
Well, I think that I just want to inform them that the person in charge of our country at the moment is leading us in the wrong direction, right?
That is true.
And as a Democrat, we're for the people, right? And with the people, not against the people, you know? And everything that our president is doing at the moment seems to be against the working class people, and those in power are getting more power, and the people are getting neglected.
Everything he just said is absolutely true. Democrats are usually for the people. The agenda of the current administration is very much against the people. And it's all about trying to convince them that this is why we ought to be supporting of the Democrats. I don't want you to do that. In this phase, it's all about building rapport with people. I have a bit of a sales background. The first thing you have to do with sales is establish rapport with folks. Before you can get to whatever it is that you're pitching, before you can get to whatever conclusion you want, you've got to make that connection with people. In this phase, and when I say this phase, I'm talking between now and June of next year, it's all about getting the permission from them to have a political conversation with them. The reason I'm asking you to talk to the people you know, a stranger that you talk to, whether you call them on a call list or anything else, is not going to be very likely to be willing to have a political conversation with you. They're certainly not going to be very likely to take your advice on what you think they ought to do. What I'm asking you to do here is talk with your people, your friends, your neighbors, whatever else. Every day, the Trump administration does something that is egregious. It's head scratching. So the conversation ought to be, well, what do you think about that? Well, I don't like that. Well, what do you think we ought to do about that? You're not telling them. You're asking them what they think ought to be. Well, somebody ought to do it. Well, and you keep leading with questions. In this phase, we're not drawing any conclusions. I want you to get comfortable talking with me about what it is that you're experiencing. If there ever was a period when we listen and don't judge, this is it. I'm telling you, I've got friends right now who are like, well, I'm just going to bury my head and I'm trying to do this and I'm trying to do that. One guy's like, I've been trying to buy a house and I couldn't get my house and now I'm working, I'm trying to get a house again. I'm going, dude, if you bury your head, every time you look up, the goalposts will have moved. You're still not going to be any closer to that house that you're trying to get. The first time he got derailed because he lost his job. Well, he's got a new job now, he's comfortable with it. But if the economy tanks, what's going to happen to that? So, he can't afford to bury his head in the sand and ignore what's going on. But I can't tell him that. Because when you tell them, you get the resistance that you're talking about. So the sales approach to that is to lead with questions. You kind of know the answers. You kind of know where you want them to go. Plant the questions in there and let them scratch their heads and go, and they'll finally get to that. And that's what this entire period between now and June of next year is about. We're not trying to say, and the Democrats are the answers. A lot of times we don't even have Democrats on the ticket in some of the places that we need a new answer. So we're not saying we are the answer right now. We're saying, I want to have a political conversation with you. We have got to get our community to wake up. And the best way to do that is with some leading questions. Anybody else want to share what your experience? Let's do one more of those. Grab a mic. Tori is next.
One of the things I encountered was in talking to people about the party was a lot of people, not a whole bunch, but said, I didn't even know we had a Democratic Party here in Greenwood. I started explaining to them the breakfast and everything, and we need to start advertising. We need to start handing things out, shaking hands, asking questions, or we'll lose them to the Republicans or they won't vote.
So as a party, we will be doing things to elevate our visibility within the community. But remember, in this phase, who am I asking you to talk to? The people that you know. Advertising is great for the people that none of us knows and can't get to. But when you're talking one-on-one, you don't necessarily need a handout. They're already your friends. You already have a position of trust with them. We just want to gently start having a conversation that moves people down this particular road. So during this phase, between now and June of next year, it's all about establishing rapport. Find out what it is that they're seeing as objections. You don't have to overcome those objections right now. This is a find out phase. Find out why the young people or some of the old people feel disenfranchised and don't want to go vote. This is the find out phase. And as we continue to have those conversations, you can then guide them through your questions to the conclusion that we want. Everybody clear with that? This is important. It's something that takes time. We all think that, oh, well, when we get to the election phase, we're going to talk to folk and we're going to be able to move them. They're going to turn you off. They're sick of this whole process. So if we don't establish that rapport now, we will not have any inroads to make a significant difference with them later. And let's be clear, our goal is to get people to go vote. We had too many people set out this last election cycle. And a lot of those people are the people that I'm talking to you about right now. They're in your household, they're in your circles, they're in the choirs with you, they're your golf buddies. So those are the people that we're trying to reach. Between now and June, it's all about establishing rapport. We good with that? All right, a couple other things from a housekeeping perspective. There are some things that you can do to help. A lot of times from a campaign perspective, particularly in the early going, we just had all those Senate candidates come through. They're working very hard. They're traveling the state, and we're still having less than optimal traction occurring from that. We need to help these people go viral. We need to help them keep their name and image in front of everybody. From our end, we're pushing out video clips from the meetings that we had and everything else, putting them through our social media. What I need you to do when you see that, I need you to click on it. I need you to hit like so that the algorithm then shows it to more people. And I need you to share it with your social media network. That costs you nothing, but it helps get those names and that information out there in the public. We're trying to do that both here and across the state. A lot of times we think, well, we don't have money, there's a lot that we don't have, but there's a lot that we also do have. And that's one of the things. So point, click, and share. On your table, got a little blue card. In 2026, we need to move to some sort of a membership structure. The whole notion here says, if we can make sure that our operating costs are covered by us, and our operating costs are two major ones, this breakfast and our monthly rent. If we can make sure that that's all covered through member contributions, everything that we raise in terms of fundraising goes directly to supporting the candidates. In 2026, if we are going to be effective in that cycle, we've got to boost our advertising and our support for the candidates. We need money in order to do that. So we've had the fish fry, which was good. Wasn't as great as I wanted, but it was good. We've got the Carnell Mays Drummond Dinner coming up, which I'm expecting to be great. But those funds we want to earmark for supporting the candidates. We need to make sure we take care of ourselves with our own donations. The way it's structured, we're saying for the breakfast, $5 a month. That's a great price. If you roll into McDonald's or Burger King or anything else and try and get a sandwich and a drink and beverage, it will be a lot more than that. So all we're asking you to do is help us defray that cost. If you don't want to do the $5 a month or $60 a year, you can do an annual membership, which discounts it by a third, $40 a year. What we're really looking for, though, I need 40 people that are bought in enough to say, we want to be proactive in this next campaign cycle, that you will become a sustaining member. $25 a month through ActBlue. I've done it, many others have. We all have memberships to the gym or memberships to a cooking website and everything else that we spend $20 to $30 a month, and we never once look at. I haven't been to the gym in 2 years. but I've maintained my Black Card membership for that one day when I finally decide I want to go back. So again, I know this will not apply to all of you. We're not asking anybody to stress yourselves if your budgets don't allow. But if you can afford to do that, please go on ActBlue and become a sustaining member. And this is the reason why. We've got a couple of announcements. One, I'm going to have Ann Gumby come up and talk to you about the Mays dinner. Following that, we're going to have Coach Nicholson come up and talk about a drive for the United Way.
Good morning. I am working with the Cornell Drummond Mays Banquet, and we have a few announcements that we want to share with you and also ask for your cooperation. The first one is to ask if you will be available the Friday night before the banquet, which is November 7th, if you would be available to come help us set up. The banquet committee, would you please stand? And if you're standing, raise your hand. Now you can see that we're no spring chickens and that we are going to need some muscles to, thank you, to help with decorating the tables and also with cleanup after the banquet. So if you can volunteer, Cynthia is standing in the back. If you would just raise your hand and she will come to the table and take your information. So, but please, we do need assistance with that. We also need assistance with greeters for that night. And that's for you to look cute and direct people to their tables. That's all that would take. So if you can help with that, we would appreciate that as well. We also have tickets available online. And if you are interested in purchasing tickets today, and there are others in the audience who have tickets as well. So Cassandra's back there waving her hand. So she has tickets too, and Bill probably has some too. No, who has them, George? George, where's George? George has tickets as well. So don't leave today without your ticket. And we are excited to announce that our speaker is Dr. Representative Jermaine Johnson. I told them I was going to say that. Is Dr. Representative Jermaine Johnson. He is a representative from Richland County. And I understand via Facebook that he has already been in McCormick and is expected to come back to McCormick in October. So if you would. Oh yes, he has not declared yet, but he is a potential candidate for governor of South Carolina. So to learn more about him, that will be a good time for you to come on November the 8th at 5 o'clock. That will give you enough time to get back home before it's too late. So if you would, the doors open at 4:30. So if you would, please come support us. Thank you.
A couple of things. Jeremiah Johnson is what his name is. It is your evil person. Anyhow, he is very well known in the lower part of the state. And he's very dynamic, very well liked in the lower part of the state. The issue here is we don't know him in the upper state. And with a lot of the candidates, even with the Senate candidates, they're coming out of the Tidewater and they are well known down there. The struggle is we need to make them known up here so that people can then come out and vote for the candidate. So again, this is the part where you come in. We're bringing these folks through repeatedly, so you've got opportunities to ops test them for yourself and figure out, is this someone that I can line up behind or not? And if it is, then I need you to do your thing again that says, well, we're going to talk to the people around us and help get those people interested in what's going on with that. So he's coming. He's going to be our speaker here. I just heard him when he's over in McCormick. He'll have other opportunities to come back into the area. I encourage you, now is the time to get involved with that and start learning who these folks are so that we can actually be a part of their campaign.
Good morning. So good to see everybody this morning. I just want to take a minute to invite each one of you to the United Way of the Lakelands kickoff this Wednesday morning at 8 o'clock at the United Center over at the Old Blake School. I'm the chair of the campaign for this year. And you know, the United Way supports many of the nonprofits we have here in our community. And if you just think back a few months, a lot of cuts have occurred. And who have these cuts affected? Basically, the nonprofits. And the thing about it, they don't have a regular stream of funds coming in. They don't have the funds coming in. They have to get out and fight with grants and other agencies to get the funds to operate. And who do these nonprofits support? Basically, the poor people. The ones at the lower totem pole, those are the ones that the nonprofits are supported. And the reason why I agreed to chair the campaign is we need to help those individuals. They are part of our community. You know, it's not good for one group to raise up and the others either remain stagnant or go down. So it's important that we support these nonprofits that we have here in our community. So I want each one of you, if you're not busy on Wednesday morning, come out and here have a kickoff. It's going to be at Blake School. When I will be out, we'll have some refreshments and everything. And if any way you can work with me or with the staff at United Way, we'll be glad to get you to volunteer to help us because we have a goal. The goal is $800,000. If we all work together, we can make that goal and we can surpass it. So again, thank you, and I look for your support.
One of the things we've done this in the past and we're continuing to doing it now, we work very closely with our neighboring parties, particularly with the McCormick Party. They've been here to support us in a lot of things. They are now getting ready to do their fish fry. I'm gonna ask Jerry Goldman to come up and share with you some information about that. We are neighbors, y'all. We are all in this together. We need to support each other. So, Jerry.
Unaccustomed as I am to public speaking, that's a joke. Anyway, am I close enough now? We're going to have our fish fry a month from today. I know you have your morning meeting, but it's going to be at the Mims Community Center in Willington. It's going to be from 11 to 2, and we also are going to have several candidates speaking, including Jermaine Johnson. It's the best fish in the area, and it only costs $15, and believe it or not, I have tickets right here if anybody wants to go. So it's got the address and everything else. So just let me know. I'll be here for the rest of the day. Thank you, Alan.
All right, one last house cleaning item, and then we'll get on to the main purpose for today's meeting. I'm looking for someone that can serve in the capacity of an assistant to our treasurer. Obviously, if you had a bookkeeping background, that would be great, but that's not necessary. If you have a love and you're comfortable with numbers, if you understand how to work with Excel and you like crunching numbers sideways, I'm one of those nerds, you're that kind of person that we're looking for. I know ordinarily when people say, I need you to volunteer, you think, well, I don't have time for that or I don't want to do whatever. But when we start looking at a specific skill set, you're like, oh, that's me. I can do that. That's the person that I'm looking for. We really have a need to have someone that can assist from a financial analyst perspective and analyzing what we've got going on. If you are that person or you know that person, have them reach out to me. You don't have to sell them on the job. I just need you to have them reach out to me, and I'll talk to them about what we're looking to do. Questions, comments?